find out, use this very quick opportunity that we have to find out from you what your ministry is doing in terms of flood disasters in Nigeria. For instance, every rainy season, Nigerians living in the riverine area carry their hearts in their hand because of the release of dams in Cameroon. What are we doing as a nation to mitigate over this?
Yeah. Thank you. First of all, let me express my appreciation to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, for giving me the opportunity to serve in his cabinet as the Honorable Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation. Flooding in Nigeria has actually been a problem over the years. But with the coming of this administration, we as a ministry, we are trying our possible best to mitigate the challenges of flooding. We cannot totally 100% eradicate flooding because flooding comes with its benefits as well as its challenges. So we are looking at the aspect of the challenges, the disasters that comes with flooding, how we can mitigate it. What we are doing early this year, in the 2024, to be precise, in February this year, we came out with early warning, annual flooding early warning, by sensitizing Nigerians and the inhabitants of Nigeria of the things, the predictions, the communities and the states that should be expecting flooding for the year 2024, and the ways that they can put in place to mitigate this flooding. Aside that, we didn't stop at that. A lot of people have that misconception that flooding in Nigeria comes as a result of the opening of the LAGDO Dam from Cameroon. We have different types of flooding. We have the flash flooding. We also have the flooding that comes as a result of overflow from some reservoirs like dams or major rivers in the country. And we also have some a different type of flooding that comes as a result of some practices that we human beings done, which are called the man-made flooding. Let me start from the man-made flooding, which comes as a result of blockages of waterways. When I mean blockages of waterway, it has two phases. One,
what happened in Trademore Estate?
Like what happened there.
Yeah.
One is as a result of the dumping of refuge in water channels, that is drainages. Another one is as a result of people building on waterways. Those are the man-made flooding. Then we have the flash flooding. Flash flooding is as a result of water, that precipitation, that is rainfall, that happens as a result of maybe as a result of climate change, when the rainfall is more than that expected, then that excess flow causes flooding. Then the third type is that which happens as an overflow of these reservoirs, like dams and major rivers in the country. So what are we doing? For the year 2024, the opening of that the dam from Cameroon, which is called the LAGDO Dam, we now discuss with the management of that LAGDO Dam that what can we do to mitigate the impact of flooding at the downstream, that is Nigeria. We now discuss with them that as they are about to open this dam, they should let us know. If they let us know now, we can now advise them that this is at the times that this dam should open. And as they are opening, this is the flow, this is the rate at which, if that dam is being opened, it will not affect us at the downstream. And that is exactly what happened in this year, 2024. They actually opened the dam, and when they were about to open the dam, they gave us a signal that they are going to open this dam from this time to this time.
But sir, can Nigeria not construct a dam to absorb the water that is coming from?
I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that. So, and they did exactly that. They opened the dam at the intervals which we agreed upon and at the rates which we agreed. And that didn't affect Nigeria. Other reservoirs that we also have in the country, we are also working, like some of our reservoirs, like the major rivers we have in the country, River Benue and River Niger, they are actually getting silted. And we are working on the desilting of these major rivers. Yes, the last question you asked, that is there anything we are doing? We have identified the Das Hausa Dam at Adamawa State. That if this dam is being constructed, it will actually cushion the effect of that water that comes from the LAGDO Dam. It will not only cushion the effect of flooding, it will also be helpful in the irrigation component that we have in boosting food production in the country. It will also be served as a reservoir for water supply within that particular axis. So we are working on that. Right now, the study and design of that particular Dase House Dam has been completed. We are now working on the funding mechanism on the construction of that dam. That is where we are now on that. We are also working on other dams in the country at the downstream of Adamawa State. Like in Benue State, we are actually working on the Dura Dam, which is also on that particular basin. That part of that flash flooding that comes between Adamawa, Taraba, and Benue, that can also trap it before it gets to the confluence of Lokoja, which is also, it will reduce that flow that gets to the confluence, that causes overflow at the Kogi, Kwara, and downstream of the Benue axis. So these are the measures we are putting in place. And we are believing that in some past, I presented the situation of flooding in the country to the Federal Executive Council, being presided by Mr. President. And there, Mr. President now constituted a committee, a technical committee, to evaluate all the dams in Nigeria. And that is ongoing.
You are the chairman of
I'm the chairman of that technical committee. And that assessment is ongoing. We have visited about 62 dams so far, the critical dams so far. And that assessment is ongoing. We have about 412 dams, critical dams that we have identified. So we are visiting them, and we are evaluating them, and reports that are now ongoing being generated. At the end, we are going to submit this report to the Federal Executive Council, and they will now take a decision. Those one that needs to be constructed, like the Dasso House, is part of the report we are coming up with, new dams that we are coming up with, and then the old ones that need rehabilitation. The recommendation is also coming up, that is going to be presented to the Federal Executive Council meeting for approval. And when these approvals are being given, the new ones will be constructed. Then the old ones that need rehabilitation will also be rehabilitated. And that will drastically cushion the challenge of flooding in the country. Not only that, it will also improve food production in the country, because these dams will be used in irrigation purposes. And they will also be used.
Most of them are not being used.
Some of them are not being, not most, but some of them are not being used.
Nigeria said most of them.
And I, as a specialist, I'm saying some, not most, are not being used. And some of these are not being used as a result of the challenges that they have.
Because Nigeria is supposed to have all-year farming.
All-year farming.
No irrigation.
Exactly.
It's not been done.
Yes, that is what we are doing at the moment now. By the grace of God, this month, we are also going to flag up dry season farming in one of our river basins. We have 12 river basins under our purview. And a lot of work, a lot of consultancy have not been, they are ongoing. In the year 2025, you can see a lot of activities will spring up. I've initiated the river basin SPAO. This river basin SPAO, its function is to come up with some ideas that will boost food production, that will boost the viability of these river basins. And all these arrangements are on top gear. And we are believing that 2025, through the Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation, with collaboration with Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Budget, Ministry of Finance, we can boost food production. We can enhance the job creation capability of the country by enhancing the economy of this nation. That is what the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration, in line with the question we asked, we are working in synergy. Thank you.
Okay, now another issue that has been at the front burner, especially in this ministry, is water pollutants. How is your ministry handling this?
Okay. Between end of last year and today, we are now improving our water labs, water laboratories that we have in the country. We have 8 water laboratories that are scattered around the country. We are improving their viability. What are we doing? They are situated in the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. What we are doing is that we have sent our officers out there to go around all the 36 states, including FCT, to identify the individual challenges that we have in the country. That is, to identify the impurities that we have as per each state, so that by the time we come up with that data, we can now identify those particular states and now have our reagents, have our laboratories within those particular states, those particular catchment area, to identify those particular impurities and attack them as that may. So that is what we are doing. Recently, we had an issue of a cholera outbreak.
Yes.
What did we do? We sent our officers to identify those states, to go to those states that have those challenges. What are actually the causes of those the cholera outbreak, and what are the waterborne diseases that are actually affecting those particular water bodies, so that we can go there and test them. So when we test, we can come out with our results and see how we can, because some of them are coming as a result of these water bodies, like these reservoirs, some from dams, some from our rivers, and even some from our water bodies that are actually well kept, so that we can address them. If need be, that we can deseed those rivers, we deseed them. Those that needs removing the refuge that are being dumped, we can also remove. And that partnership with the subnational, that is the states and the local government, because they also have a part to play. It's not only the federal government. The states owns the population. The state owns the population, and they also have a role to play. So we have to have that sensitization. Have to have that meeting with the subnationals, meet with the state governors and the chairman of this local government to let them know that this is a part they need to play. So, and that is ongoing.
Okay, sir. But you also know that climate change or issues related to climate change, the ministry is very key in that aspect. Because now, I want to say we have lost like 75% of Lake Chad due to climate change. And again, the existing dams, as you say, Ministry of Power is also saying that water resources is not giving them access to tap some of this dam and convert them, like when you have a Egwin Dam, Egwin Thermal Station and all those things. Otherwise, there will be power 24 hours in the day. Is it true that you're not giving them access?
You are asking 2 questions in one.
Yes, 2 in 1.
Because actually,
as a parting shot.
Okay, you are talking about
the receding
of Lake Chad, and you are talking about Power saying we're not giving them access.
Yes.
I don't think Power will say we're not giving them access.
2 years ago, they came up with that.
That is before the coming of this administration.
Yes.
In this administration, we are working in synergy with Power. About 2 weeks ago, there was a memorandum of understanding that we signed with Ministry of Power on the issue of a SPIN, that is sustainable power irrigation for Nigeria, that is coming up. So we are working in synergy with Power, and we are giving them access. In fact, everything they need to have We have given them. So when we're talking about 2 years, that is before this administration,
Before this
that I may not know. I'm talking about this
But the
administration.
government is a continuation.
It's a continuation. That's why I'm saying that in the coming of Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration, the synergy between Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation and Power is very cordial. Everything they need from us, we are giving them. So that question, that is the answer I have for it. Then the issue of Lake Chad. Even yesterday, the committee of Lake Chad was here. And we are working on climate change is a natural phenomenon that you and I cannot stop it. But how can we mitigate the effect that comes with it? That is what is on the bouncing border now that we are discussing. Yesterday, the committee was here. 2 weeks back, we were in Benin Republic discussing that. Last year, ending, we were in Jamena discussing about this issue. And we are discussing how we can desit. At the same time, all the channels that takes water to Lake Charge, how can we resuscitate them? Those are the issues we are discussing, and we are believing that with these issues we are putting on ground, we can solve that as much as the climate change, which is a natural phenomenon, is on ground. At our own end, we can try to cushion that by putting all the measures that we are planning to put in place to recharge Lake Charge, to see how we can block all the sediments that comes into it, and all the channels that are being blocked, we can open them. For us to have that water, one, for power generation, irrigation purposes, water supply, and to see how we can have that navigative way to boost our economy. Thank you.